Can you imagine giving it all away, starting another day someplace new? Pack up some good books and I'll take some new light strings, all the necessary things, me and you. And all that we need is the hint of a tune, spinning its spell in the light of the moon, stealing the breath of the life that you knew and me. I'd be the one with the wings on my feet, I'd sing in the park and I'd dance in the street. People would say that I was completely mad. Don't worry, it's alright, the boy's in love, and that's quite enough for now. Don't worry, it's alright, the boy's in love, and that's quite enough for now. I've made some wrong turns, and I'm sure I will again. Life's just a series of bends, it seems to me. And I've looked for the passion, kept my eye on the burning flame, and it's sure to be found again. Waiting. All that we need is the hint of a tune, spinning a spell in the light of the moon, stealing the breath of the life that you knew and me. I'd be the one with the wings on my feet, I'd sing in the park and I'd dance in the street. People would say that I was completely. Don't worry, it's alright, the boy's in love, and that's quite enough for now. Don't worry, it's alright, the boy's in love, and that's quite enough for now. Don't worry, it's alright, the boy's in love, and that's quite enough for now. Don't worry, it's alright, the boy's in love, and that's quite